I'd like to tell you about a show of epic proportions.
I prefer me some magic when I'm trying to get in and out of houses, undetected. I prefer me some magic.
A show where the boundaries are pushed.
I like spam. Is there something wrong with that?
No, nothing at all. I'll meat with jelly on top of it. Go right ahead.
I'd like to tell you about that show, but that is not this show. This show is the Fortean Slip, with host Chris York.
I have a tendency to go to dark places with my humor. It is what it is. It's not going to change anytime soon.
Co-host Steve Alcorn.
It was so earth-shaking and mind-blowing that even John Teeter in the future knows about it.
And reoccurring, ever-present special guest, Matt Knapp.
Yeah, somebody should have put out like a giant bug zapper and just ended that whole Mothman debacle.
A show that lacks taste, a filter, and listeners.
Are you listening? Are you like hearing the fucking fart?
Yeah.
Right, not just smelling it, you're hearing
Not just smelling. Audible as well.
That would be something else.
Whoa.
But
you
I
have
do.
parts that you can't tell if it was you or not?
Well, yeah, because...
What you are about to hear may be offensive, but we don't really give a fuck.
Good evening, and welcome to the Fortean Slip. Tonight is episode 44, where we don't have a title for the episode. Hell, we didn't even have an episode until like 20 minutes ago. Thank you, Matt.
Wow. That intro was just a roller coaster of emotions.
I know, I was all over the place. Yes, tonight. I say, you're a Thunderbird, son.
I like that. It's a good title.
I remember, I was telling Matt before the show, I remember there was this book in my 5th grade class, and it's where I read about the Mothman. I read some cool, like, Bigfoot story at the time. I think there was a Jersey Devil story in there, and there was a story about the Thunderbird, about that the Thunderbird had, these kids are playing out in the fucking playground. Thunderbird comes down, picks this kid up for a second, or takes it, carries it off. I can't remember now. It's been so fucking long, but either just picks it up for a second and drops it, or takes off with it. I can't remember. But I remember doing a little bit of research, like in the library and shit, and finding out that there's all this folklore about the Thunderbird or whatever. But that was my first introduction to it.
I don't know where mine was. Probably something similar, a book or something somewhere. Just, you and I have discussed before that I'm not a big fan of birds, period.
Yeah.
So the idea of a bird that's large enough to actually kill me is kind of terrifying.
What was that fucking movie that they made? That horrible, like, B movie. Was like a pterodactyl or something, like in New York City or some shit.
What?
Back in the 80s. I can't remember the name of the fucking movie. Somebody will post it in the fucking comment section of the show.
Now, don't look at me, because I don't know the name of any movie.
I remember this movie when I was a kid. It scared the shit out of me for some reason at that time. But when I was a kid, I was scared of planes.
What?
Yeah, no shit. Like, my father thought that I was, in a former life, that I was from a war-torn country. Like, he used to tell me that.
Or you were terrified of Thunderbirds.
I don't know.
Maybe you're the little boy in the playground,
Ooh,
Chris.
yeah.
In In a former life, Chris was one of those Amazon people in the jungle that never seen civilization.
When I was a little kid, I used to, if like a plane would fly overhead, I would run and I'd hide. I'd go for cover.
Winged devil coming!
Yeah.
And you guys call me strange.
Motherfucker, you are strange. I don't call you strange. It is a fucking fact.
I'm not afraid of airplanes.
Neither am I now. I fly in them. In fact, I will be flying in one in a month.
I have to admit, I am afraid to fly in one, but I'm not afraid to see them go overhead.
Or sit in them whenever they're stationary.
At that time, I was a little kid. I was only like fucking 4 or 5 years old, somewhere around there.
I was afraid of fireworks.
What?
Yes, I was afraid of fireworks.
Okay, see, I was not afraid of fireworks.
I'd run for cover. I'd run for cover every time the fireworks went off.
Were you like a dog?
He's being a fucking asshole. He's fucking being an asshole.
It's the truth.
He ran and crawled underneath the bed.
After we get done with the show, he's gonna be like, "How'd you like that? How'd you like how he fucking played that?"
It's the God honest truth.
I can't come up with things that quick off the top of my head.
Bullshit.
You know that by now.
I was afraid of leaves.
They'd fall off the trees, man.
Yeah, man.
I really was, though, afraid of fireworks, but not airplanes or Thunderbirds, for that matter.
No, by Thunderbirds, we're just talking about giant birds, right?
Yeah, the giant... I don't know what they equate him to. I would equate him to like a giant eagle.
Yeah, nobody ever really says what kind of bird they look like.
Like those things in Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit.
Yeah, but have you noticed in these Thunderbird stories, the eyewitness never really describes what it looks like other than a giant bird. It doesn't like... There's no comparison to like another bird made.
I assume they would have big talons if they're going to, pick people up and carry them off.
Do the chickens have large talons? Like, what if it was a giant
I say, you gotta have large talons, son.
Giant hummingbird.
That'd be pretty freaky, actually.
Yeah, I think that would be something else.
I say, son, stop carrying off the folk from the town.
So, go ahead, Steve.
Go ahead with what?
You have something to tell us, I believe.
About my Thunderbird
I say,
experience?
son, tell us about your thunder chicken sighting.
Well, I mean, Chris, have you ever seen a Thunderbird?
I have never seen a Thunderbird. However,
I've never seen a Thunderbird.
I think I have stated on the program that I have seen a UFO, or what I thought was a UFO. But I've never seen anything else, like anything like cryptid
we're doing a show about
or...
Thunderbirds, and one of us has actually seen one.
No. I've never had a Thunderbird. I've never had a Thunderbird sighting.
Huh?
I've had more of a Thunderbird.
Now, Matt and I would like to preface this by saying that before the show, Steve said, "Oh, I've had a Thunderbird sighting."
Well, it wasn't technically a sighting. I never saw the bird.
What?
I know it was a
Its
bird.
egg or a feather or...
No, I didn't find any evidence of the giant bird. I heard it.
What do you mean you heard it?
Okay, I was out Bigfoot researching that day. So I wasn't looking for the Thunderbird. But now, see, my brother had a Thunderbird sighting in the past.
I
in
take
that
it back,
area.
Matt. I've seen the Jersey Devil, the Loch Ness Monster.
You guys think I'm making this shit up.
Bigfoot.
I'm not. This is true.
Well, what do you mean?
So anyway,
Chris? Well, I heard him.
My brother had a Thunderbird sighting in that area, and all he really described was a large bird. He couldn't tell exactly what kind of bird, or there was no description, just like Matt said. But it was
that
a
whole
giant
pattern you were talking about, Matt.
Right.
Yeah.
It was a giant bird. No, I'll ask him about it again and see if he knows any more details about it. It's been a while since he told me, and I wasn't thinking about it the day that I went out.
Let's call him up right now.
There are some sightings in my area on occasion of giant birds. Well, anyway, I was out in the being a Bigfoot field researcher that day,
Right.
and probably one of the only times I was, being a Bigfoot field researcher. But I was coming back to my vehicle, after a long day in the forest, and in the top of this tree. Well, it might be, because there's Bigfoots in there, maybe. Bigfoots could be paranormal, we don't know. But anyway, so I was coming out, and I got on the road, and I stopped to take, a breather, because it was a long way back in. And so in the top of this tree, I hear this loud noise, and then all of a sudden I hear this wings flapping. And it was, I swear to God, it sounded like, a helicopter taking off out of the top of that tree. And the tree's probably 40 foot tall. It wasn't real high. But that was my Thunderbird hearing, not sighting. And I couldn't feel the wind off the wings, but it was there. It's super loud. We don't have any real
subscribe to the sounds that Steve hears. Sign into audible.com.
We have some bald eagles around and things of that nature. Cranes, that's the biggest birds we have around here. So whatever this thing was, right, they're big, but whatever this was, I'm telling you, it was the loudest thing. It had to have been huge. Whatever it was, I could actually, and this is 40 feet in the air in the top of the tree or above the trees. But I heard it take off out of a tree. So it was very super loud. So I believe Thunderbirds could be real, and that's where they probably get their, the term Thunderbird is from the loudness of the wings, I'm guessing. Right?
Probably not.
No.
But yeah.
Oh. No.
I believe it's because of Native American stories about the Thunderbird.
But I'll tell you, it was the loudest. I mean, you've heard a bird probably take off.
I have heard birds before, Steve.
Yeah, but as far as their wings flapping, unless, you got a larger bird, you don't really hear anything.
It's because the bird says, because when I come with the thunder.
Well, it was very loud. Scared the shit out of me. I can tell you that.
I thought you were going to say, like, you walked under the tree and you heard something say, hey, I'm the Thunderbird.
No, it didn't speak to me. I don't believe it was a paranormal bird. There was no mind speak going on or, anything of that nature. And it only lasted like 5 seconds. And it was gone, and I went over to the tree, but I didn't see anything up in there. But super loud. Something you don't expect to hear.
So
that's all I can say about my
Thunderbird hearing.
That's what I said, a Thunderbird hearing, not a Thunderbird sighting. But my brother did, or at least he claims he did, have a Thunderbird sighting in the same general location.
And tell us about his sighting.
Well, I did. There's not much to say.
You just said he saw it. Was it in a tree, flying through the air?
No. Flying. It was flying.
How big did he think it was?
Large.
He doesn't know he ran for
large.
I haven't talked to him in a couple of years about it. The last time my hearing, what I heard, was about 2 years ago, and that was the last time we've talked to each other about the Thunderbird. But
we mustn't speak of it, brother.
Probably it's the size of a small airplane.
Wow.
Very very small. What he saw.
The Alcorn brothers deal with the Thunderbird like Bob Dominguez deals with the Chupacabra.
Yeah.
It was my stepbrother, so his last name is not Alcorn.
Oh.
Haha.
Ah.
Oh.
Ah. Oh.
Got you there.
Well, there's I know of at least one sighting in Oklahoma that I read where the lady was out walking or something, and she came to like a pond on her property, and there was this huge black bird like standing by the pond that she said was something like 4 feet tall, standing up on the ground, and that whenever it saw her, it immediately took off and had like a huge wingspan. And
well, cranes, that would describe a crane too,
Right, but this bird didn't have like a long neck or anything.
Right.
Like she actually described it like as a large black bird, like a crow type bird.
I believe and I'll find out from my brother, but I believe he said the one he saw was black as well.
That seems to be the case in a lot of sightings, but I know in Texas and other parts, they see large owls. Like some unknown breed or species of owl that's extremely large. A thunder owl. Thunder owls are on.
I'll tell you, I've seen a horned owl, one of those big motherfuckers. And when they spread their wings, those things are pretty massive in and of themselves. And they're pretty intimidating. Like, I was coming down a hiking trail, and my girlfriend's brother at the time, he stopped me and he pointed up into the trees, and he's like, dude, look. And when I looked up, it was just sitting there, and right after I looked up, it just spread its wings and took off. It was like, holy shit.
I must say that when I saw heard what I heard, it was, probably like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So
Steve's one of those people that, like, he's got, like, what's that, synesthesia, where he, like, when he hears things, he sees them.
That's awesome.
It's like
I can only imagine.
Steve, you have a superpower. Maybe it's from eating spam.
It probably is. I can only imagine how big the bird had to be, because obviously I didn't see it. It was a little bit farther down the road. I mean, it was probably 100 yards from where it was, and that was what impressed me more, because it was so loud. I mean, it was like loud.
But see,
it's hard to describe the loudness of what I heard. But I mean,
the thing that
it
bothers me
was loud.
Like, you have all these sightings and these reports of people seeing them, and they're not claiming something like a Bigfoot or a Loch Ness monster. They're just saying it's a really big bird. But where would a bird that size live without being seen all the time?
In Pennsylvania.
But
well, I'm just saying.
What would it eat? Like, it would be like taking out
smaller birds.
It'd be taking out like deer.
There's
I don't
plenty.
know.
Hey, I'm not trying to defend the fact that there could be a Thunderbird, but there are plenty of them, dude. Holy shit, I hit them almost every fucking day.
You just plow through deer on a daily basis.
I am constantly having to fucking jam on the brakes to not hit deer.
I have the same experience where I am at. So, but no, I live right on Lake Erie. I mean, if there weren't trees between me and the lake, I could see the lake from my house. So, perhaps they stay close to the lake shore. We have 100-foot bluffs, that straight drop-offs. You would never see them unless you were down there. Maybe they only come out certain times a day. I don't know.
Maybe they fly around at night. Maybe they're nocturnal.
It's possible. Maybe mostly they are.
That's scary.
But like I said, it was probably 5 o'clock in the afternoon when I heard what I heard, and my brother's was during the day, and I'm assuming the one that you know from Oklahoma was probably during the day.
Yes.
So, of course, if they're black and they're flying mostly at night, it's possible you never would see them.
Until they blocked out the moon.
Well,
I can honestly say I've never seen, or heard, for that matter, the Thunderbird. Personally. That's just me. Carry on.
I don't know. All I know is that what I heard that day was very impressive. And I have seen, been close to eagles and owls and all sorts of other large cranes even. And they don't make that kind of noise.
Think about the pile of shit on your windshield from one of these things.
No doubt. That's another thing. Like in Bigfoot researchers, they want to, people who are skeptical say, where's the shit? Well, you got to imagine that a bird that size.
Yeah, there'd be like, a 10-foot pool of white, milky
shit.
Bird shit.
Well, unless they're carnivores. Maybe carnivorous birds don't.
And then there'd be like basketball-sized pellets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Where's the evidence? Where's
There's
the
yeah,
feather? Somebody would have found a feather. Like,
but dude, you're a person who's seen Bigfoot, and there's no evidence for that fucking shit.
but I can rationalize all that.
You know, I mean, I don't fucking know. I like to end it like I said, we do the show. I do the show. You know, I personally do the show because I have a passion for the shit. But I don't fucking know because there's so much horse shit.
Where's the answers at, Chris?
I know exactly. Give me the fucking answer. Show me. God
I mean,
damn
like
it.
with okay, like Bigfoot, for instance. If you find some hair in the woods, well, it could be from a lot of things, as we know.
Yeah.
But if you find a 3-foot-long fucking feather, what the hell did that come from?
Right, but nobody's finding 3-foot-long feathers that I'm aware
Exactly.
Maybe they bury their own feathers.
of. Oh, Jesus.
Oh.
Maybe they don't lose feathers. Maybe they're, like a form of pterodactyl or something. I don't know. Maybe they've got feathers.
Maybe they're like Wonder Woman's jet. They're invisible.
Could be.
Cloak.
Or
Cloaking
cloak.
I'm not going to claim that what I heard was a Thunderbird, but what I heard was a
You
giant.
said before the show,
Dude,
I had a
it's
Thunderbird
fucking,
sighting.
It's changed
No.
fucking... I was... I,
no,
oh
he's
my
not even
God.
like claiming it. He's not touching it. Like, no, man.
I
never
swear to
said
God,
it.
I
I'll
think
own
I
it.
was
I'll own
recording.
it.
I think I was recording when he fucking said it. So if
course
I
you
was,
were.
it's going at the fucking beginning of the show.
I'm telling you. Okay, I'll own it. I had a large, bird sighting on PBS. It was yellow and
Fuck
had orange
you.
feet.
Yeah, hung out with Snuffleupagus.
No, I will own what I say. I believe there is some sort of large bird in my area
Ebert.
of Pennsylvania.
I believe there are giant
Whether-
birds flying around somewhere.
Whether it's a thunderbird or not, I can't claim that because I don't know what a thunderbird looks like, or sounds like, for that matter.
Hey, I have not been to all corners of the earth nor seen all the shit that's here. That's what I can tell you. There's a lot of expanse, empty, just area that we don't touch. There's a whole vast ocean that we've barely even scratched.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Cranes are more of a land-based bird, correct?
Yeah, they hang out at water.
I mean,
They hang out
but they
around water.
fly, but they don't generally, roost in trees and things of that nature.
Well, no, they roost in trees. All birds roost in trees for the most part, but you're not going to see them flying unless they're going from like one body of water to another.
Right. They tend not to fly that way. When I was a kid, I grew up on a farm, of course, and there was a crane that would always come out and bother me while I was hoeing the garden or hoeing the fields, and I used to chase that son of a bitch around, and he'd fly off, but I never heard the wings flapping like I heard that day. So I'd like to put an open invitation out to people to contact me on Facebook with their Thunderbird hearings and see if mine is similar to theirs.
Jackass.
No, I'm serious. I want to know what they describe the wings, how it sounded. It's hard to describe because it's a sound and it's not a sighting.
A really loud flapping of wings by chance?
Right. Well, yeah, but it's almost like a helicopter taking off. That's how loud it was. It scared the shit out of me.
And now, from the man that brought you this story, comes the news. You can trust everything he says, people.
It was all true. From the New York DailyNews.com, $15,000 reward offered for a man who kicked a squirrel off a cliff into the Grand Canyon. Animal rights activists are offering $15,000 to anyone who can identify a shirtless goon, really, filmed kicking a squirrel off a cliff in the Grand Canyon.
The man named Bullwinkle seemed to have been fed up with the little son of a bitch.
Hey, Rocky.
Who wrote this article? The squirrel snuff film was posted to YouTube last week. That's what I'm saying. Who wrote this article last week and quickly went viral, prompting a backlash from both
guy didn't have
animal
a fucking leather mask on with a zipper in the mouth.
Oh, you saw the video?
From animal lovers and outdoor enthusiasts who prodded park officials to investigate. PETA is offering the $15,000 for any information that leads to an arrest of what this heartless thug, said to be a French-speaking tourist visiting the park with a pal. PETA director Martin, I can't pronounce his last name, called the hard-to-watch video sadistic. I guess it would be.
It is pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, I watched it, and he's throwing, like, peanuts and stuff down right at the edge of the cliff.
Come
and,
on!
like, lowering it over there, and then he, like, lines it up and just boots that little fucker right over the edge. I believe I can fly.
I thought the French were supposed to be lovers. Animal abusers are bullies and cowards who look to victimize the most vulnerable, defenseless individuals available to them, human or non-human, the PETA director said. Rewards are also offered in the UK and in France. Very cool. And in our next story from the BBC.com, a Jonestown cult member's remains are found in Delaware. Jonestown. The guy named John. I forget what the whole story was anymore. It says Jonestown. No, Jonestown. You're right. Jonestown. I'm sorry. Jonestown is Pennsylvania.
Jonestown, home of the Jonas Brothers.
Holy shit.
Let me just start reading the story and maybe I'll get better.
The Reverend Jim Johns.
Jones.
By the end of the story, it'll be John Johns, the fucking Martian manhunter.
The cremated remains of 9 victims of the 1978 mass cult suicide in Jonestown, Guyana, have turned up in a former funeral home in Delaware. The ashes were discovered in the city of Dover when officials inspected a lot of more than 30 small containers. Investigators said they did not know why the remains had not been claimed. More than 900 members of the People's Temple died when their leader, Jim Jones, ordered them to take punch laced with cyanide.
You sure it's not Jim Johns?
It's Jim Jones. Officials from the Delaware Division of Forensic Science have taken possession of the remains, which were discovered at the former Minas funeral home in Dover.
I like how they had to say punch instead of Kool-Aid for copyright infringement.
We don't know why they were unclaimed. A spokesman with the State Department of Safety and Homeland Security, Kimberly Chandler, told the Delaware Online News. Wait, Department of Safety and Homeland Security? What we intend to do is identify family members, reach out to them, and make them aware that the remains are available to them. James Warren, or Jim Jones, began his cult in the People's Temple in his native state of Indiana in the 1950s. In the early 70s, he moved to San Francisco, where he established a free health clinic and drug rehabilitation program, attracting hundreds of followers. And you know the rest of the story. He killed them all.
And meanwhile, he fucking did tons of drugs.
That happened on 18th of November of 1978. His followers shot and killed members of a fact-finding group led by U.S. Congressman Leo Ryan, who traveled to Guyana to investigate reports of abuse. And then Jones ordered his followers to drink cyanide-laced, grape-flavored punch and or Kool-Aid. Yummy.
Hence the term, don't drink the Kool-Aid.
Exactly. And from the Inquisitor.com, A UFO over Italy has been making headlines recently due to its surprising shape and structure. The glittering unidentified flying object was spotted in broad daylight on a sunny day early last month. The unusual object was moving above the Earth across clear blue skies when it was witnessed. The Italy UFO was glowing from within or reflecting the light from the sun. A man named Antonio Yerzi was fortunate enough to be able to document this atypical UFO over Italy with his camera.
The fuck does it look like?
Valley. Well,
That's a spicy UFO.
Because I skipped the headline, I'll read the headline and then maybe you'll get a better idea. Mysterious gleaming object could be biological entity or bunch of balloons. Does that answer your question?
It's like this gleaming turd-like thing.
On August 4th, 2014, UFO and paranormal researcher and journalist Alejandro Rojas, a radio host for Open Minds Radio, shared some new information about the Milan UFO.
Resume in the article?
Rojas, who once served as the official spokesman for the Mutual UFO Network as director of public education, pointed out that the original title of the UFO video translates into English as unidentified anomalous biological entity. In other words, the man who recorded the UFO and posted it to YouTube allegedly believed that what he witnessed was a living organism. Researchers who study these unidentified anomalous biological entities, didn't know there were any, concede that they look suspiciously like certain mundane objects commonly found at a children's birthday party, i.e. balloons. Rojas also noted that Antonio Yerzi has amassed hundreds of UFO videos and photographs, which he captures through the skylight of his Milan apartment. Perhaps it's the vast quantity of UFO sightings that Yerzi has witnessed that makes the UFO over Italy seem just a tiny bit suspect. That was a long article.
Hundreds of
yes,
UFO
this guy,
videos from his window at his apartment?
Right. When I was big into UFOs, this guy was, I mean, he's been doing this for years.
Is that the guy that films out the window all the time? And
yeah, he films out his skylight. Sometimes from his backyard as well, but he films out of his skylight. Oh, I got to read this. Prior to the introduction of the most recent theories, some people suggested that the shining unidentified flying object in the sky over Milan was nothing more than fireworks, flares, or the reflection of sunlight on space junk. But some other interesting theories include a flying serpent, Pleiadians, or good aliens.
Good aliens.
Good alien. Is there any such thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course there is.
Seen flying over Italy.
There are benevolent aliens. There's 50, I think, what is it? What's it up to now? 52 or 53 varieties of aliens that are visiting the Earth? Something of that nature.
Wow. I'm glad somebody's got a handle on that.
57, I think it is. Heinz
57.
Anyway, fellas.
I heard an alien one.
Yeah. He said, "Here, I'm gonna stick this in your ass."
I heard a Bigfoot.
I'm an alien.
Too, but we won't go into my Bigfoot hearing story.
Oh God.
On this show. I may have before.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you like us, go check out Dread Fun. The Chupacabra Hunter, Bob Dominguez, is up. Give that man some love. Like it, comment. Same with this fucking shit.
Bob Dominguez is a good alien.
Like, comment. I've said it before, I will say it again. Bob Dominguez he's just got a really good tan. That dude is American.
Oh.
No.
I would have never guessed it.
Bob loves his Chupacabra Hunter fucking picture.
Oh, it was great. Props to Dread Fun.
This has been episode 44 of the Fortean Slip. I say, I saw a Thunderbird, son. I heard a Thunderbird, son. That's what I'm going with.
That was me smacking my head.
Yeah.